Hello, my name is Andy and I am the villager. Yes, and I'm armed with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. Happy New Year to everybody in the district of Selby, which is where I am today. And it seems a bit weird saying that, to be honest, because as you can see, there's still some leaves on the ground. It's November as I film this, but this is the video that will come out first in the Selby district in 2022. Now, when I looked at this one on the map, I thought this one was going to be really easy to film. It doesn't look too big. It looks like the kind of village that I could walk around in about half an hour. I think I'm wrong, because as soon as I came into this village, I noticed this property straight in front of me called Barkston Towers, looking very old and very majestic. Look at this for a really tight bend. Look at this. It reminds me of Leedsham in Leeds, this does. I think there's more in this village than I originally thought. Welcome to Barkston Ash. Barkston Ash is a small village and civil parish close to Selby in North Yorkshire. It was formerly known just as Barkston when it used to be part of the West Riding of Yorkshire. The village dates back to at least 1090, when it was spelled Barkston, spelled B-A-R-C-E-S-T-O-N-E. Now part of Selby district, the village previously gave its name to the former wapentake of Barkston Ash. So I'm not sure if that sign saying Roman Catholic Church is actually pointing down here, but if it is, I can't get to it because, as you can see, this is a private road. It may also mean the church in the centre of the village. Let's go and find that. The ash part of the name comes from a large ash tree said to be at the approximate centre of the ancient county of Yorkshire, where meetings for the wapentake would be held. The addition of ash to the name is pretty recent. Signs in nearby Saxton still refer to the village as Barkston, and even today the OS maps make a distinction between Barkston and Barkston Ash. The Barkston wapentake was huge. It stretched from the River Ouse in the east to the lower reaches of the rivers Ayr and Wharfe, and then to the boundary of the Roman road running from Castleford to Wetherby in the west. Barkston Ash was also the name of the local parliamentary constituency of Barkston Ash until 1983, when its boundaries were redrawn to divide the area into Elmet and Selby. So much like the bend you saw at the beginning of the video, here on Back Lane, which I'm about to walk down, as you can see, this is unsuitable for long vehicles, and that's because there's another nasty bend in this road. Undoubtedly a very pretty village. There are 3 17th to 19th century stone Grade 2 listed buildings near the junction of Main Street and Church Street. These are Laurel Farm, Barkston House and Turpin Hall Farm. In terms of property, Barkston Ash's average house price weighs in at a hefty £395,000. Barkston's early founders are likely to have been Scandinavian in origin. This is a village that spans more than 1 millennium in terms of history. It lived through both Wars of the Roses, featuring the Battle of Towton, which was fought on the 29th of March 1461, and the English Civil War in the 1640s. Despite that, the village seems to have escaped without too much change as it moved into the 19th and 20th centuries. In the 1950s, Barkston could be best described as a working village with 9 farms in total. The population of the parish of Barkston was 234, with an area of 1,168 acres. These days, Barkston Ash commands a population of 370, covering an area amounting to 4.713 square kilometres, giving it a population density of just over 77 per kilometre squared. The population here is 98.6% white British, with only 5 people identifying as anything else. Now, if you look at the map of Barkston Ash and you look where the village is located within the boundaries, it's in the very northern section of the boundaries. Most of them cover a load of farmland to the south. So there's not really much to talk about down there, except if you're a farmer and you're interested in what they're growing in those fields. So for the most part, the village is the tiny little bit at the top of the parish, and then everything else is just open fields. Now I'm going to walk along here towards these open fields next and come back on myself and come past the pub and back to where I began earlier. What is now the A162 London Road was a turnpike constructed in 1769. The main street and the major part of the village goes east from the junction with this. Out here is the site of the ash tree supposedly marking the centre of Yorkshire. It was replaced in the 1980s because of age and disease, and a new tree was planted in its place. A section of the original tree was kept, and it's still available to see. Legend has it that anyone who spits at the tree will be struck by lightning a year and a day later, and an apocryphal figure known as Jack Foal is supposed to have suffered this fate. It's also said that until 1753, the Barkston Ash Folly, which is a form of medieval football involving pig's bladders and lighteners, was played by young men of the village. The game is supposed to have been commemorating Jack Foal. Although traffic has inevitably increased since the invention of the car, the village thankfully is still a bit of a rural backwater with a slow pace. Farm vehicles are a familiar sight, and you can still hear the birds singing once the traffic has died down. In an effort to maintain this more leisurely pace and to help with safety in the village, the parish council are currently working towards the implementation of a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit in the village centre. Pretty much all of Barkston Ash's amenities are clustered into one area of the village, this being Main Street and Church Street. There are 2 pubs here. The Ash Tree Inn sits on the site of a former coaching inn along the Turnpike Road and takes its name from the ash tree, said to be the centre of the county. Then there's the Boot and Shoe on Main Street. There were formerly 2 shops and a post office on Main Street as well, but all of these are now private residences. The village contains a small Church of England church, Holy Trinity, originally a chapel of ease constructed in 1880, but given its current name and status in 1974. Holy Trinity Church in Barkston Ash is one of the churches in the Sherburn group of parishes, which also includes All Saints in Sherburn and Elmet, All Saints in Saxton, St Ricarius in Aberford, and St Mary the Virgin in Micklefield. Okay, so on the wall here there's a plaque, and it says, Barkston Ash WI planted these trees to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the NFWI, November 1990. I assume it means these trees, this one and this one, either side of the war memorial. Until the 19th century, there was no Anglican church in the village. In 1869, William Thompson, the then Archbishop of York, issued a licence to the Vicar of Sherburn, Reverend James Matthew, to officiate in the drawing room of a house occupied by Joseph Bartle. This was fine as far as it went, but the licence did not allow sacraments to be administered, and soon there was a move towards the provision of a permanent building. Mr. William Squire, a local gentleman farmer, donated a suitable plot for this to be built. At the back of the church there's a garden maintained by the members of the village, and there's an area for the burial of cremated ashes. There's a bus service through the village. In fact, there are 4. One is a school service to Tadcaster Grammar School, but the other 3 are the 492, 494 and 495 services. Perhaps Barkston Ash's most unique feature is the well-hidden village hall on Church Street. You really do need to look for this, as it's tucked away behind a house, and the only way you can tell it's there is by the partially overgrown sign over a gate. Barkston Village Hall is one of the smallest halls around, but still makes a fantastic venue for any event. Okay, so I'm almost all the way round the village. This house here has the post box in the wall because that's the old post office. And the only thing really that this walk around hasn't covered is the Catholic primary school, which you can find by going to the end of this road, turning right and then right again, and that's where you'll find the school. But I'm pretty much done with the walk around Barkston now, and that means it's time to head back to the car. And you guys need a picture bit. Here it comes right now. And there you go, that's the parish of Barkston Ash, the first one in Selby in 2022. And don't forget, you can see some more of these if you tune into the channel every Friday at 2:30 throughout the year, because I will still be doing this into 2023. Okay, I'm off to my next one in Selby. This has been the parish of Barkston Ash, and I've been Andy, otherwise known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out.